It's the Oh Yeah Wrestling Podcast.
Oh, yeah, Will.
Here it is.
I always got to start off with, like, my impression.
Yeah.
I think what we should do is, I don't know, maybe one of these little mini figures will be on the line.
Like
Ooh, Macho
man.
I will take Rowdy. He was hard to find off the list. I'd rather not part with Macho Man, but that's a fitting gift. You know what? I'll part with Macho Man. If people send their best, oh yeah.
Oh.
And then we'll pick the best one, and they can have the Macho Man.
I'm down with that, man. But, you know, you're going to have to go back and go to YouTube. You're going to have to pull up some old Macho Man footage.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't want any just half-hearted and think that you're going to win type of promo. And see, I'll take it even up a notch, okay? I don't want just the oh yeah, because this is awesome. This is, you know, just saying oh yeah, that doesn't get you that. But if you cut a promo and you say, oh yeah, because here with Miss Elizabeth, and you give me a little promo, man, then it might be worth it.
But Miss Elizabeth cannot be locked in a closet. I do not get down with that.
We don't condone that at all. No locking of people in the closet.
No. Free Elizabeth. But, yeah, I mean, because if I remember right, the Macho Man, the Rowdy Roddy Piper, and the Ultimate Warrior were a little bit harder to find. And so they were a little bit more expensive. But like I say, if you cut a promo and you give us the oh yeah, and you know, of course, we're going to probably play it on the show.
Yes.
So you got to be down for that. We want it, and I'll reward you with that.
Man, that's generous, Bradley.
Yeah, it's a little more generous than I had even intended before the show started, but
it's like a shoot promo right off the bat.
Yeah, I am shooting. I love it. I love it. Let's get into the greatest Royal Rumble real quick. I mean, that was last week, and what's great is, you know, we had WrestleMania, we had the Superstar Shakeup, then we had the Greatest Royal Rumble, and now we have Backlash. I wasn't even ready for Backlash being this week, really.
It kind of snuck up on us a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But it's, you know, it's a good time as a wrestling fan.
Right.
Because, like you said, all the things that you mentioned, and it's just continuing. It does. That's, you know, you can watch a whole lot of other sports, which, man, I love NBA basketball. I love football, college football. I love watching sports. I'm a big baseball guy as well. But, you know, you're going to get the season. You're going to get the postseason. If your team's good enough to be in the postseason, that's a bonus. But then the season's over. And it's just kind of, you know, you got to wait till the next season to come around. With the WWE and the WWE Universe, it never stops.
Yeah.
And then even things like, you know, on June 13th on the El Rey Network, Lucha Underground Season 4 comes out. So it doesn't ever stop. Yeah.
Yeah. There was some so-so matches, I think, where we had just some washes, some countouts. I'd say that the AJ Styles and Nakamura match didn't quite pan out the way I was hoping.
It was a good match. I mean, because, you know what? I think, you know, it's almost one of those things with AJ and Shinsuke. You're going to get a top-level match.
Yeah.
Now, it may not turn out exactly how we want, or however, there might be too many, you know, low blows. But at the same time, you know, we can expect a really good quality match from them.
And, I mean, with it being in Saudi Arabia and all that, and like you said, it wasn't so much a pay-per-view as a showcase.
Yeah, it's a super show.
So it was really more about the performance than the outcome, is what you're kind of saying.
Yeah, I mean, it was long, too. Yeah. I mean, that was like WrestleMania long, kind of, you know, 5 hours or
I know.
something.
I remember I'd done the morning podcast that I do with Jack and Ron, and I came home, and I turned it on, and I was doing a lot of editing. And I got a lot of editing done before the WWE Greatest Royal Rumble was over.
I could imagine that.
And I remember I started at like 1 p.m. and it was 6 o'clock, and my wife's at home, and it's still going. But here's a match I almost forgot about, was the Cruiser Championship, Cedric Alexander and Kalisto.
Yeah.
That was a really good athletic match.
You know, it was way better than then, you know, we've talked about it, you know, where are you at with 205 Live, and we put it on our Facebook page. And so we've kind of been talking about it a little bit, but they, I think, kind of redeemed themselves a little bit, so to speak, and they just came out and put on a great match. They put on a great show for the fans. And hopefully, sparked a little bit of something, a little bit of interest that people might be able to check out 205 Live a little bit more.
Yeah. We had the Raw Tag Team Championship, which kind of surprised me a little bit because Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt ended up beating the Bar. I mean, I guess it did because I didn't really see the Bar going back to SmackDown or to Raw.
No, yeah. And who else is going to carry the belt right now on Raw?
Yeah.
I'm not sure who else that would be, and I know we're going to start to see that here coming up soon, and who really is going to challenge the Woken Warriors or whatever they're going to call themselves.
Yeah, wonderful. That was that was Matt Hardy. I'll play again. Wonderful. So yeah, they were happy to win, and then they had their little promo on Monday night, but not much storyline after that. SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Bludgeon Brothers, they ended up beating the Usos. Kind of chalk on that one. I expected that to happen. U.S. Championship, Jeff Hardy beats Jinder Mahal. Yeah. I mean, that was all right. But here was the match to me, like, this one was the best match so far, and maybe the best match of the night, and that was the Intercontinental Championship, the ladder match. Seth Rollins versus The Miz versus Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe.
Yeah, golly, I think it just, we're a little bit past the Greatest Royal Rumble, so most everybody knows, seen it and been a part of it, but the match that Seth Rollins had and Finn, and you can't discount the other guys, but that's the storyline. That's where it's been. And it was between Seth and Finn, and just the finish that came out of that. You have Seth, who Finn is on the ladder, man. He's reaching for it.
Yeah,
he's gonna win the title. You're like, oh man, here it is. And Seth makes that seamless jump from the top rope onto the ladder, and reaches up and grabs that belt, and then as the belt comes down, it hits Finn right in the eye, cuts him open a little bit.
Yeah,
that's not the way they thought it was going to happen, but it couldn't have gone any better than that.
Oh, I know, because I mean, they're athletes, and they're super athletes. They're the best of the best to be on WWE.
Yeah.
However, I still give it up to him for jumping off the top rope onto the ladder.
I fell on my face.
Yeah, I mean, anything that you don't get your footing right, or I don't know. I don't know how often they get to practice that either. So
yeah,
that was impressive. I'm sorry, that was impressive to me.
It was great.
It was a great finish because you didn't see it coming because he was off camera and then jumps onto the ladder. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
The Undertaker versus Rusev in the casket match.
Yeah.
Pretty good, but again, like some of these matches, they were just cool, but
Yeah, I mean, when you go to a place like Saudi Arabia where you haven't done something like this before. And if I was living over there, I want to see Undertaker win that match.
Yeah, totally.
There was a little bit of heat that Undertaker got. I don't want to say heat, but they were kind of questioning whether the Tombstone Piledriver that he gave Aiden English, kind of hurt him a little bit because it looked like from the video his head kind of made some contact there. Well, he didn't. It was just Aiden selling it like he was supposed to.
Yeah.
Throws both of them in the casket, closes it, and you got to love Undertaker winning in a casket match.
Yeah. Triple H and John Cena.
Yeah.
I want to do let's go back to Undertaker real quick. His intro and outro longer than the match, I think.
It's that's half his game.
Yeah. Okay. Like I say, John Cena and Triple H.
I liked it.
Yeah.
To me, as being as an old school fan as I am, and they're not like old school, but like in that they had a great rivalry for a while, and they actually haven't fought that many times in the ring. They talked about that as they haven't fought that much, but man, just the storyline that they do by themselves, just by being who they are, is cool. John wins the match, obviously. And then, he's going through all that personal stuff, and him and Nikki had broke up, and he said, no matter what's going on in my life, I would have not missed this match.
Right,
and, we have something to talk about with John and Nikki later in our Dirt Sheets and Rumors, but, man, I thought it was a class act by the organization. They put on a great show. They kicked it off, and they set a good tone, and man, I like those guys.
Okay, Universal Championship, the Steel Cage match, Brock Lesnar, he beats Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns spears him out of the cage. Now, some people are saying that Roman, and I guess it's if you watch the video, it's not really that they're just saying it.
Yeah.
But he hit the mat first.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be, whoever exit the first 2 feet to hit the floor, that's it. You either win by pinfall submission or you exit the cage, and if your feet hit the floor first, you're the winner.
Right.
Well, obviously, you can tell by the video that initially, that's Roman's feet that hit first.
Yeah.
By the video, but it was a hell of a spear. I mean, there was a high impact, and if you watch it in slow motion, the way that those guys hit, and almost the way Roman, he had his head tucked and down for that spear. Man, that was an intense spear, man.
Yeah, it looked good. Now, is that controversy that they've cooked up? Was he meant to hit the ground first? Or is it just whoops? But oh well, we're moving on and.
Yeah, probably all the above.
Because it really, like I say, none of these matches had a whole lot of. They didn't really mean a whole lot.
No,
in the long run,
just a super show.
Yeah.
That, we've talked about. We don't get wrestling on a Friday afternoon very often, man. That's cool.
Yeah, you're right about that. So that ended up being cool. Now there was something that was one of the best things I've ever seen in a pay-per-view wrestling match, whatever you want to say. Titus World Slide. I mean, when it first happened, I wasn't even sure what happened, and then I was like, oh no.
Well, because the camera doesn't show him right off the bat.
Yeah.
You hear his music, but they're showing something else in the ring, and then Corey Graves and Michael Cole lose it. Really, you could tell this is just, they have lost their minds. They're laughing hysterically, especially Corey Graves.
Yeah.
And they show the replay. How many? 10 or 15 times,
yes.
Just over and over and over again. And, hey, if I would say this, that, we'll talk about it, a little bit later in some of our, Raw moments, but he was a good sport about it, man.
He was a good sport, and that's really all that matters because, these guys, they're putting on performances, and it's kind of like Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle in his last comedy stand-up said, "I don't get paid to execute the landing." He compared himself to Evel Knievel. He goes, "I just get paid for the attempt." I was like, "That's podcasting. We might get tripped up or whatever, but we can't be perfect. They can't always be perfect. So you just got to laugh it off." And I think that was a great way of handling it.
Yeah, it was.
And we'll talk a little bit more about Titus World Slide when we get to you mentioned it, the top 3 Raw moments. But before we do that, we got to talk about the winner of the Royal Rumble, which there was a couple of times where I thought for sure Daniel Bryan was going to win, or I can't remember who all it came down to. But then it came down, and I thought Braun Strowman, I didn't really expect him to win, but I really was glad that he did because he needs to win. Well, we talked about this the other day. You don't think he needs to win anything.
I don't think he needs to have a championship. I don't think he needs to win every single match. Now, he is winning a lot of matches. He could get you can't have him lose clean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if 7 guys would have threw him over the top rope, you can't be mad about that. But he didn't. And to me, it was simply this. Braun is the guy in WWE. They've been pushing Roman Reigns at us for a while, that he's the man, he's the big dog, it's his yard. And I think that WWE said, okay, well, Roman, you're still incredible. You're still one of our main dudes, but this is our guy.
Right.
And the fact that he could grab a belt, whether it was an imaginary belt or not, that he could hold it above his head at the end of the greatest Royal Rumble. Vince McMahon's in the ring. You got that huge trophy. You got a belt. And it just, that image can't go away in your brain of Braun Strowman as the winner. He outlasted 50 guys. He's got the belt over his head. And, he is the guy in the company.
Yeah, and you're right. I just want to see him win.
Yeah.
I do. He's on the list. I want to see Finn Balor win something.
Yeah.
But there was a couple people. Chris Jericho was in it. I was glad to see him.
He was number 50. Yeah.
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
And when Chris Jericho came out 50, I thought, Are
He
they gonna
can
let
win.
him win it? Yeah,
Yeah.
but he didn't. Like I say, Rey Mysterio and a few people popped up that I thought was cool. I mean, they had to with 50 guys being in the ring, but it really wasn't as bad as I kind of thought it was going to be. Going into it, I was like, "Ooh, that sounds like a drag, actually," but it was exciting. And Elias, that's the guy who I almost thought was going to win it for a minute.
He played the role well of the heel in the side of the match and going underneath the rope quite a few times. But he is, he's a guy that we're going to see over and over and over as the year goes on. We're going to see him, and we could see him in the Intercontinental Championship race with, Seth Rollins, in my opinion. And it would be a great show. It'd be a great match. And just the promos that he cuts and, the rock star that he says he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, but I think we can get to my most favorite part of every podcast, which is the top 3 Raw moments for the week.
It's the top 3 Raw stories.
All right, Will. This Raw, like I say, me and you were talking about it. I feel like this was the one where we got let down just a little because we've had so much going on.
Yeah.
And this one was, we're just kind of getting ready for Backlash, basically. So let's put everybody in matches together and go that route. But overall, I mean, still a good match. And we'll start with the number 3 moment. We talked about this earlier. It was Titus World Slide, and of course his
reaction to that, huh?
His promo, yeah, it was pretty good.
You know what, man? I just failed. Plain and simple. I failed. But you know what? Not many people get an opportunity to fall literally flat on their face in front of the entire world. What is important is that you don't just stay down, that you get back up. So I hope that this situation inspires people to do something.
Uh-oh. He was
There he is.
interrupted.
Yeah.
Do you know the question you should have asked him?
Baron Corbin.
Titus, do you know what would be more impressive and inspirational? If you hadn't fallen in the first place. I don't know why you're wasting your time with this guy.
So, yeah, that was Baron Corbin, who is trying to, find some kind of angle, I think, in Raw. And so we're going to see more of him probably going up against Titus World Slide, but because I can't call him worldwide anymore. I just
Not
can't.
for a while, you can't.
Yeah. But what do you think about Baron Corbin coming out and Titus's reaction?
I think whether it's with Titus or just somebody else somewhere kind of mid-card-ish, they're going to look to see where the chemistry is for him to kind of stick his nose in where it doesn't belong or just, how does he, maybe he ends up in the middle of a title picture, some kind of title picture, and you're like, wait, what? How does this guy? But he sneaks in. He's a lone wolf. He makes it happen for himself. And however it works out, I think it's a great move that Baron Corbin came to Raw. I really do. Because on SmackDown, it was the same thing over and over and over for him. And I think this is a pretty pivotal kind of career move, so to speak, what I'm saying, by moving to Raw for Baron Corbin, because is it going to be the status quo with him? Is he just going to be the big, huge, bad-looking dude, but nothing ever happens with him? I don't know how this is going to play out for him. He hasn't been my most favorite guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? He doesn't have the greatest promos. He's great in the ring, but it just it's a whole lot about nothing sometimes.
Yeah.
It's there, and you're like, okay.
He's a little boring.
A little bit. He does have that nasty streak, and if he would just play that a little bit more, and when I mean that is not just some smart-ass big guy. I mean like a really nasty, ruthless guy,
right?
Where he will do anything to say, I'm on Raw. You have to deal with me.
Yeah. And
I think it's going to take that over the top with Baron to, I don't know, to get him to, get over, so to speak, even if he is the bad guy.
Yeah, and I think he makes a way better bad guy. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, they just, I don't know. Like you said, he comes off as arrogant and all that, but it just seems like he needs to pick something and be really good at that. Like if he's the guy that comes out and hit you with a chair every week, or kind of like how our man is hitting everybody in the junks every week. But
yeah, I don't suggest going down that road.
No. We saw the Miz Taraj come out while Seth Rollins and and Finn Balor. Actually, Finn Balor and Seth Rollins were having a bit of a conversation about having a match, right? And Finn said something I found very interesting.
I like that butt. I like that butt.
That's going to be on the podcast for a while.
Yeah, it is. Liv Morgan?
I like that butt.
Okay, sorry. But they get interrupted by the Miztourage, and they end up fending them off, you know, and everything goes good. But Seth Rollins and Finn, before they get to their actual match for the Intercontinental Championship, which Finn asked for, this is what happened.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh! Striking Rollins. And a little reminder from Finn to Seth that, hey, I'm still out there.
Keep your eyes on
shaking
me.
hands
Yeah.
60 seconds ago.
Yeah, so he's reminding Rollins, you know, I'm a threat too. And so don't take me lightly, even though we get along and they seem to have a friendship. The competitive juices are still there.
It's almost like a mutual respect more than anything else. And especially when you got the Miztourage coming out with, they're like, we made a mistake. We should actually be all four of us be together. And they had all four of their faces on that T-shirt, you know. But, man, it's are we starting to see a little bit more of a nasty side of Finn Balor? Are we starting to see a little bit of a heel turn for him?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's okay, man.
Yeah.
If Seth Rollins is that white meat baby face, like Stone Cold Steve Austin loves to say about the baby faces in the company, if he is that guy, man, you need to have him oppose the evil. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And then I won't be mad if the freaking demon comes out, because I want to see that from Finn Balor. But, man, it's they have put on a great – for as many times as they've wrestled over the past, however long it's been happening now, man, they have kept the story fresh. They have put on great matches, and they have not disappointed.
Mandy Rose?
I like that butt.
I'm not going to disagree.
So Finn Balor, I noticed that he was wearing the all-inclusive whatever, the club is for everyone shirt with the rainbow, which I kind of like. I like that design. I think that's a cool design. But he was actually getting some crap from people for not wearing it in Saudi Arabia. And he said, look, I've actually haven't worn it in like 6 shows since WrestleMania.
Now, whether that's true or not, you're in a we said that you're in a totally different culture and a totally different thing.
Sure.
So is your whole agenda to go over there and piss people off?
Yeah.
is that your whole agenda?
Yeah, I mean, you can't
or
go over
do
there
you just
giving
say
them the
something
finger.
like, well, I haven't worn that in a long time anyway.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I don't think he had. I think it's been a little bit because he went back to wearing the blue and all that. But he wore it for Monday night, and, I think that it's cool. Listen, he's not obligated to do any of that.
No.
I mean, he's doing that because he's a cool dude, right? I mean, so I think it's interesting when people give him the business for not doing enough or whatever. I think he's doing plenty, honestly.
It's, I watched like Monday Night Raw back in the Attitude Era. Yeah, none of that was friendly.
Yeah, so that's true. Okay, let's get to the number one moment on Raw, and it all kind of, you saw what was going to happen early on.
Yeah.
Everybody came out, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and all these guys, and they were actually it started, wasn't it Jinder Mahal, and they were trying to figure out who was
Roman kicks off Raw.
Roman,
and,
that's right. Yeah,
he comes out and gets booed out of the building. I think this is great to talk about really quick because it was one of the greatest segments that we saw on Raw. Okay, Roman kicks off. They're in Quebec, Canada. They're booing him out of the building.
Yes,
and so Jinder comes out and rubs this. You can't beat Brock. You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And just rubbing salt in the wound. You're going to lose to Joe. And then Sami Zayn comes out and challenges him for a match. KO comes out and challenges him for a match. And you saw it building up to this. But Sami Zayn, KO, they continue to be hilarious.
Yes.
And not only just hilarious, it's not just comedy like, oh, yeah, it's comedy. No, they are being sarcastic jerks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I love it. And they're in Quebec. And they're going nuts for them. You know, they're real close to that area, and you know the Canadians fans were yelling "wee." I don't, you know.
yeah, that was pretty funny. Like there was a lot of times where I was like, man, I wish there was captions. I have no idea what someone were saying. Even Seth Rollins tried his little hand at it. And
Yeah, they didn't go well.
it was funny.
And then Finn showed him up on top of it.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so.
But going back to it, sorry.
No, you're right.
So Bobby Lashley comes out.
Yeah.
And then the Braun Strowman comes out, and then there's a six-man tag. And, man, we have the clip. We'll play it. But I think we are pointing at, like I just said before, we're pointing at the man.
Yeah, well, Kevin Owens, this is towards the end of the match. He's actually, I think he hit a few people with some super kicks, and it looked like it was all going his way, and then this was what happened.
Kevin connects with a couple of super kicks. Strowman's down. Clear the deck. Cannonball coming through. Oh, no. Monster alert. Right.
Monster alert.
Slam.
Here are the winners, Bobby Lashley, Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman.
Yeah, so like we said, Kevin Owens was running towards Braun. Braun catches him, and it's over for him.
Braun is the big-time name
Yeah.
on WWE right now, especially on Raw, and I couldn't be happier about it because he's so big, so athletic, and he's not just, you know, when you got some of the big men like in the past, you know, Kane has always been so athletic, Undertaker, but then you've had guys like he was in the 50-man Battle Royal of the Great Khali. He didn't move around that great. He's a big guy, but he can't move.
Yeah.
And Braun is just another one of those athletic big guys.
Yeah, we talked about that. You know, Braun, Big Cass, some of those, because you see, you know, who was the basketball player that was so tall? Man,
Manute Bull?
No, he played for the Dallas Mavericks.
Shawn Bradley.
Shawn Bradley.
Oh,
he was like almost 8 foot tall, and everybody was dunking all over him.
Shaq made him look so bad so many times.
Yeah,
but
so some of those tall guys can look awkward. Braun doesn't look like that. He's just a big bad mother. Shut your mouth, you know. And so you're right. I think the rise of Braun is still going on, but you have envisioned a way where we might see him with the championship. And tell me, or tell everybody, kind of what you think that will be.
Well, you know, I've kind of rethought it over and over and over, but I think that I'm not sure that we're going to see Braun win the title. Maybe till WrestleMania. And to me, it's like, why not do that? If he's this hot, he's white hot. No matter. So if he has a belt or not, people want to see him have the belt. And man, you could see him in a Roman Reigns, you know, kind of, you know, versus Braun for the title. I think there's 1,000 different ways you can spin that, but I think. I think even SummerSlam would be too fast for him to win the title and to carry everything. But, man, I'll tell you what, I'm excited for Braun to have it. I just like the way he's carrying the company.
Me too. All right. Anything else for Raw?
No. Have you been feeling okay this week, Brad?
Yeah, you know, I've been kind of taking care of my diabetes pretty much.
Due to my condition.
But yeah, I've been feeling pretty good.
Before we went to SmackDown.
That's why I got the diet due to my condition.
Oh man.
But yeah, you want the SmackDown top moments? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm ready for him.
Oh, you done it now, sucker! You want it? You got it! It's the top 3 SmackDown stories. Oh
yeah, so like I say, SmackDown exciting this week for sure. A lot of great storylines. I even almost thought that SmackDown to me was a little more enjoyable than Raw. I don't know, but at this point, I almost might even say that I would say SmackDown kind of came out ahead in the shakeup.
So far, and I think we're gonna see how it plays out post Backlash. You know, where do they go with all these new storylines? Because I think they'll shake it up quite a bit. But yeah, I mean, there was nothing wrong with SmackDown this week. I mean, for the 2 shows that we had, post WrestleMania, post Superstar Shakeup, post Greatest Royal Rumble, which is a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to do something really special, and man, it kicked off great with Miz TV, right?
Yeah.
So
Miz TV, Miz came out. He's trying to instigate some heat between Jeff Hardy and Orton because, Orton came out to face Shelton Benjamin. Jeff came out instead. And then the next week, Jeff was going to face, I can't remember, and Orton came out instead.
Yeah.
So they did it to each other. And they basically tell Miz, we're cool. We're not going to fight because you want us to.
Yeah.
We're cool.
But Miz kicks off, right?
Yeah.
So before Randy and Jeff come out, what does he do? He's like, look, Daniel Bryan is banned from Miz TV.
Yeah. He has a hate on for Daniel Bryan right now. Probably because here's the thing: do you want to see the Miz and Daniel Bryan in a match together?
I absolutely do.
It's going to be all the same moves against each other.
But these guys,
they're great.
It's
though.
a WrestleMania match, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Miz and Daniel Bryan is a massive, big-time match that I hope. That's why I think they inserted Big Cass into that storyline because Daniel Bryan requested the Miz to come to SmackDown, and it kind of like they were about to fight right then, right there, and inserted Big Cass. This is a big-time mega match. Now, it could be SummerSlam when it happens, or SummerSlam, excuse me, when that happens, but at the same time, yes, I definitely want to see it.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the third moment here, the SmackDown story. And this is after Orton and Jeff Hardy team up, and they win. And then this.
Here are your winners, Randy Orton and the United States Champion, Jeff Hardy.
Oh, from out of nowhere!
RKO.
Viper strikes when he's ready to strike. Apparently, Orton was ready to strike.
Tag team pleasantry is out of the way.
It's over.
Now it's full steam ahead to this Sunday at Backlash.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. And I saw that RKO coming from like a mile away.
No, it was out of nowhere, Brad.
Yeah. But I knew Jeff Hardy was getting it.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I like their little deal that they've got going. And it reminds me of the Finn and Seth deal. But that's going to be good coming up.
Yeah, when we talked about the RKO, it's kind of like, they're having this, like, we respect each other crap in the Miz TV,
Yes.
And it reminds me a lot of, like, how Stone Cold Steve Austin used to be back in the Attitude Era.
Sure.
He had the DTA, don't trust anybody. Well, Randy Orton kind of carries that, too, of, like, yeah, I'll be your tag team partner when it's over, but I'm freaking stun you, man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to swig beer all over you.
Exactly.
And Randy Orton does that too with the RKO. It's like, we have some common ground until right now.
Right. Yeah. But that's how it should be. I mean, once they face off.
I don't
against
watch
each other,
wrestling
there's no
to watch
friends.
people hug.
Yeah, exactly. Hug it out. Hug it out. Okay, so we're going to get to the second SmackDown moment, but let's set it up a little bit. We had a 6-member tag team match where it was Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky Lynch versus Carmella, the champion, and, of course, the Iconics.
I like that butt.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Dirty man.
Yeah, Finn, you're wrong. Dirty Finn.
It's a family-friendly podcast, Finn. Be careful.
Yeah, but anyway, so it ended up being a pretty entertaining match. Like I say, Charlotte, so athletic, and she pulls off a move that, watching the match, I thought was awesome, and that brings us to number 2.
Going high risk. Moonsault.
That was awesome.
The Queen pulling out all
Looks
the
so
stops
great.
tonight on SmackDown Live.
They are on their feet at the Bell Center. And meanwhile, back inside the ring, Peyton Royce all alone with Asuka. And now Peyton Royce trying to close out this 6-woman tag team match.
Oh, the Asuka lock is
There
in.
it is.
It's locked in.
Peyton Royce, is she going to tap out? Asuka taps Peyton Royce.
So, that brings me to one thing, too. You see the women tap out way more than the men.
I don't have anything for you there, man.
I read that it's kind of disgraceful for, like, the men look at it to where it's not good to tap out.
Well,
But I guess for the women, it's not,
I don't know.
It's not too much of a
Are you
deal.
in Saudi Arabia, man? Are you?
I'm just saying, you see it because you see it all the time where the women tap out.
Yeah, with all that, I got to say, talk about the Iconics real quick, right?
Yeah.
So they're involved in this big-time storyline with 3 of the biggest women baby faces in the business, Charlotte, Asuka, and Becky Lynch, right?
Right.
They're involved, like, just insert here, and it feels like they've been here for a minute.
Yeah. They've adapted very well. They've interjected like a new kind of energy in the women's division on SmackDown, and I'm glad that they're there. I think they're funny. You know. Yeah. And
don't you think, like, how they're paired up with Carmella right now? That's kind of like a perfect pair, or marriage there, so to speak.
Oh
you know?
yeah. It is a great. Although I would like to see maybe they turn on Carmella.
Oh, whenever they want that belt.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So another person who wants the belt, Shinsuke.
Hey, he has proven that, hasn't he?
I think he will go on to win it soon, but I really wish that he would, so that he could quit hitting people in the junks every week. So what is this, week 4? Is this a month of junk shots?
Yeah, man. I mean,
so a whole month of our #1 SmackDown moment.
Every week.
Yeah.
Ferocious words from Samoa Joe on his path.
Who came out to talk to AJ.
Is he here?
Samoa Joe just squared up for Nakamura.
Samoa Joe keeping his head on a swivel. And
Oh, no.
Shinsuke Nakamura with another low blow.
Where'd Nakamura even come from?
I don't know, but Shinsuke got AJ again.
The cheap shot artist hits the WWE champion again.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to that well every week.
I said it. Is this a fetish?
I don't know.
Is this going to happen every week?
I don't know. I'm sort of kind of over it now, though. I mean, are you over it
Well,
yet?
I'll tell you what. If it was Shinsuke that said that little clip that we've been playing a Finn,
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what to say here, man. But it just seems like he has an obsession with AJ Styles junk, man. It's what it seems like. And in all seriousness, we know what he's doing. He's going after it. It's the mind games. But there's only so many low blows a man can take. It's a good thing AJ Styles already got kids, man.
Yeah. I mean, he's probably not going to have any more after Shinsuke's done with him.
Yeah. But Samoa Joe comes out and to get into AJ's face and basically tells him, look, whoever ends up with the belt, I'm coming after you. And Joe's going to be on a great run. We're going to see Joe in some big-time matches coming up. And but at the same time, Shinsuke, he's going to be around as well.
I think with Joe, it's just that he was so big in what was going on with Raw there right when he came back, and before. But when he came back, he was talking to he was calling out Roman Reigns. And then now he's in SmackDown, so they've kind of had him straddling a little bit.
It's a little
he's
weird.
about to come into his own over there, and I think he's going to be. I love Samoa Joe.
Yeah, we're just in that weird.
Which I think I might be related to Samoa Joe.
Really? You think so?
I mean, I'm like 10% Pacific Islander, and so I mean, every Samoan person on WWE is related. So
yeah, I think I'm related to Sheamus.
I know you're related to Sheamus. I mean, look at you. He's your dad.
Fella. But I'm older than him. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's just one of those things that makes you go, well. But yeah, another thing that happened on SmackDown I want to mention. Rusev.
Yeah.
I think that they're going to break up, him and Aiden.
I know you're upset about that, man.
I love it.
No. I know you say that on the podcast, but every week you text me going, man, I wish they would just give Aiden English a run.
No, I do not. I want them to hire me to say Rusev Day.
You want him to say Bradley Day.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Listen, I would like Aiden English a lot more if he was our voice guy on the podcast. But like him doing that, the Hamilton type kind of rap, that stuff is so lame.
Yeah. You know, I don't even think I want to talk about it. But Lana looks great in that Rusev Day shirt.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. So.
And I'll tell you what, man. You know, they had when I don't think you were watching it then when Lana first broke in with Rusev.
No,
So she had that very thick Russian accent, and you know, Rusev crush, and she came in just the tight clothes, but it wasn't. I mean, she was sexy, but all at the same time, it wasn't just about that. It was about this power that she demonstrated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so. I could see them kind of maybe kicking back into that a little bit, but of course with Total Divas, and they're huge stars all over TV now. But man, it's time to see Lana a little bit more involved with Rusev. I think she tried her run at being one of the female wrestlers. I don't think it worked out too great for her. I think she plays great as what she's doing with Rusev.
Yeah, and she's you said she's on that Total Divas Live, or is that what's
Yeah.
it called? Yeah. Didn't they catch Rusev and her kind of getting freaky on camera?
Are you going to be mad at Rusev for it?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Rusev Day.
Yeah.
Every day. So, but I did hear about that. I think it was them, right? That all went down with.
I would have to say you would have to ask my wife about that because I don't watch a ton of it.
Oh yeah, no. For some reason I came across that story. So, I think we need to mention Cadell and Company real quick.
Absolutely.
They're out of Norman, Oklahoma. They've been doing commercial construction for the last 20 years. They're fourth-generation builders, but they're now doing residential. So
very nice.
This is the time where home prices are going up, home values are going up, so you can get all these home improvement projects done through Cadell and Company and then make some money. You know, that doesn't always happen, but. They have a showroom down there with all the materials that you need. They've got the wood floors, tile floors, carpet, cabinets, countertops, all of it. I mean, they want to make sure that you're happy from the time that you walk into that door till the time that they install it if you want. I mean, you can do it yourself, but they install it too. They've done stuff for all over the Norman campus, but for the Norman Fire Department, also the Jim Thorpe Historical Preservation. I mean, that to me speaks a lot about that they're trusted to do that, and they're our friends, so we trust them too.
Yeah, I mean that's a place where if you're doing those home improvements, look, if you're a great skilled crafty hand and you want to save the money and do it yourself, hey man, this in the world today where you can save $1, that's great because if you're one of those type of people, man, they offer great materials.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They do.
It's not just bottom of the barrel kind of warped stuff and whatever broken pieces of granite. No, they're going to give you the top-notch materials that you need to be able to make your home and your project look incredible. But if you're not that skilled of a person, we highly suggest have them install it, have them take care of you. You're not going to be disappointed. And one of the things that we've always said is there's no salesman.
Right. There's no salesman down there. So you just go in, you talk to one of the Cadell family, and they're going to take care of you. And like I said, if you do it yourself, they'll consult with you through the whole thing. So, I mean, that's even cool, too. So give them a call, 405-928-5026. Again, it's 405-928-5026. Check them out. See the pictures of some of that stuff we were talking about, the materials, the projects at Cadell and Company on Facebook. And if you mention the Oh Yeah Wrestling podcast, you get 10% off the materials.
What?
That's awesome.
10% off, man.
Yeah. So really, really thankful for Cadell and Company.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and everything they do. And like I say, we trust them. So you should too. If you trust us, trust them. That's what I say. All right. So this is a time of the show that I love. It's Dirt Sheets and Rumors time.
Dirt Sheets and Rumors.
Yeah. So, Will, we both kind of found some Dirt Sheets and Rumors stuff this week.
I'm going to let you start this week, man.
You are?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I always go first, or I usually do most of the talking during Dirt Sheets. But, man, you found something that you're excited about.
Well, yes, and if I would point it out, behind you is a Jerichoholic shirt, but it kind of get darker outside as we're losing our light, but that's okay. Jericho reportedly is going to return to New Japan Pro Wrestling soon, which you saw him gosh, what Wrestle Kingdom, I believe, is that big show that they do.
Yeah, and he had what a lot of people say was 5-star match and the best match of his career against Kenny Omega. And it was Alpha versus Omega. And if you haven't seen that, I think you can find it on, go on YouTube and find the clips, do whatever, and just research it, and you can figure out where to find that match. And I've seen it. I didn't watch the rest of the program. As I'm just being honest, I'm not real familiar with New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Sure.
I'm not real familiar with it. I love it. You know what I mean? As far as like the matches that I have seen, the little highlights here and there, you're like, man, that's good stuff. But the fact that how big of a star is Chris Jericho that he can be at the greatest Royal Rumble, and then there's just this rumor that I'm going to go back to New Japan Wrestling when he's actually said he was done with New Japan.
Yeah, and he can write his own ticket basically into anywhere. I feel like at this stage in his career, he's not probably at the top of his game anymore, but he's still a great performer in the ring. And so even that probably speaks to how great he was at one time.
Yeah, and, one of the greatest things about Jericho is that the way that he's always been to reinvent himself.
Yeah,
he was the Ayatollah rock and roller, then he was Y2J, and then now kind of moving forward, even currently with "you just made the list,"
Yeah.
just those catchphrases that the crowd catches on to.
It was interesting because I expected a bigger pop when he came out to do his promo at the Greatest Royal Rumble, where people were on the list. But when he actually came out at number 50, he got a huge ovation.
He did.
So I think I was reading something that there was something else going on when they did that promo, or they didn't show it up on the big screen out there. So that could have been it. But I almost felt like there was a point where he was kind of looking, like he almost kind of had that look in his eyes like, usually when I say, the list or whatever, I get a big pop. And so it wasn't there. But other than that,
I love the list.
Yeah.
I wish I was on the list.
Yeah. So
as a matter of fact, Chris Jericho has a whole wrestling cruise. Do you know about this?
Yeah. I want to go.
It's in October. I wish I could go.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of guys from Ring of Honor and like Mick Foley and Jim Ross and James Ellsworth is going to be on the cruise, and he's going to be defending his intergender championship. James Ellsworth is. Sorry, that's funny to me. And so, I mean, just the reason why I say all this is that Chris Jericho is a megastar in the business, and his rock band's not doing too bad either.
Fozzy, pretty good band in that last record, getting a lot of traction with that song Judas.
Judas. Yeah, it was a good song.
Yeah. Speaking of songs, I'm digressing just a hair, but that Godsmack song they keep playing. They just put out a new record, and they've been playing the song all over. I didn't know that was Godsmack for the longest time that they've been playing that. Yeah, because a little bit different style for Godsmack. But anyway, I think Jason Jordan is getting close to returning. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, not any more than what's already been said. Is that he's getting closer. He has a neck injury, from what was being reported. WWE is going to go slow with that every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time they're going to go slow with that because they're not going to bring somebody back too fast. And you've seen it even with all the way through like Paige. She has had the reemergence back into SmackDown general manager, but she had to retire from in-ring competition at this time. And so nothing new yet, but I think it's coming.
Right on. The other thing I saw, this isn't necessarily a rumor or dirt sheet, but Kane.
Yeah,
he won his. I guess it was a primary or something like that, and so he's the candidate for mayor.
Yeah, he's in Tennessee, and man, that's really cool for a guy that he has always been known. If you have followed this business at all, that he is not just the Demon King Kane, and he is one of the smartest guys in the locker room, and somebody that a lot of the guys trust. And he's been in this business a long time. You don't make it 20 years in this business without being tough and smart and knowing how to get through things. And the fact that he loves his community so much that he wants to go out and become mayor. I hope people vote for him. I mean, I don't know anything about his agenda, but I will say, if people get in his face, he's going to choke slam him. And how do you?
Yeah. I would love to have Kane as my mayor.
Yeah,
I would love it. So move to Midwest City, Kane.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Okay, so you have something that we kind of alluded to earlier, and John Cena alluded to it at the Greatest Royal Rumble. So tell us about that.
Well, you know that John Cena and Nikki Bella were in a great relationship for a long time, and it was on TV, and he proposed to her at WrestleMania 33, and it was this big, huge thing. And here recently, they have said that they have broke up. You know, these are rumors and dirt sheets. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody, I say this each and every week because I really want people to just, use their brain and just use all this information for themselves. Okay.
Sure.
We want them as people to be great. And if they're broken up and hurting and not doing well, then, man, we just wish the best for them, okay? There's my person side really quick, okay? But on the rumor side, they're saying that this is all a hoax and that on Total Bellas or Total Divas or whatever this is going to be, the next show, that it's going to come out that, yes, they broke up, but it was really just for TV, and they're going to get back together.
Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Because I was feeling a little bit sad for him. But, I figured Cena was just like, you know what?
I like that butt.
Oh, man, that's not going to get old anytime soon.
No, no. Maybe with some of our listeners, but not us.
Yeah. So that's going to be disappointing, actually, if that's the case. But
well, who knows, man. So we see a lot of that in the pro wrestling business where it's, hey, just kidding. This is we're just working you a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would go that far or not, but I mean, it seems pretty extreme because they were actually supposed to get married on May 5th.
Yeah.
Which is my wife's birthday, by the way.
Really?
I feel like I should say that.
Yeah.
Because we're having a big birthday. You're coming, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great party. But they were supposed to get married, and I think my wife was really excited about that.
Yeah.
But, like I said, want the best for them as people. If it is a hoax, it was a good one.
Yeah.
They pulled the wool over everybody
That
for
was
sure.
a good hoax.
Yeah. But, man, to finish this up on Dirt Sheets and Rumors this week, we talked about, we were at not us, but the WWE was at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and, there was a lot of controversy about the women not being involved in that. And there's just a massive cultural difference. And to the credit of Saudi Arabia, they are trying to westernize their culture a little bit, man. They really are. Women are driving for the first time ever. And I think things are going to move forward to them because, that's just – it's the world, man. We need to progress. We need to move forward. But one of the things that came out was that Corey Graves, he put out a Instagram tweet – or an Instagram, excuse me, and he had a drink of a IPA that he was drinking.
Sure.
And it said, a drink to remember that no matter how bad we think we have it, which is here in America, at least our women have rights and we all have a freedom of expression. He has every right to say that. But was it the right time? You just spent 5 hours commentating and laughing at Titus and, calling a great match and watching Braun win. And I'm sure that you're very passionate about, man, the women's revolution, the women's movement, that we're doing. But at the same time, it's, like I said last week on the podcast, did you go there to plant a seed and say, hey, it's not that bad? What you're thinking is, man, these women are incredible. They can do this. They can do that.
Right.
And maybe it was time for him to do that. Maybe just one of the rumors that was out there was he was getting a little bit of heat for that. So I don't know what you think about that. But
yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I don't know. It seems like he's been getting in a little bit of trouble anyway. He mentioned the Bullet Club, which they're not really supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
And then that, I think he's just kind of one of those guys who probably really doesn't care.
No.
I mean, not saying that he cares about his job.
Mm-hmm.
But he's probably one of those guys who would rather ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
And just says what he wants to say, and then, I don't know. I enjoy his, his stuff, and I like him, so I don't know about all that. I just think that probably better left unsaid.
Well, like I said, if you just haven't spent that much time propping up, because he spent 5 hours propping up the community of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And so that's where I feel like you're like, well, what do you mean then, man? You know what I mean? So were you just doing your job, and now that on your Instagram, you're just saying how you really feel? Because, I mean, you can do that too because I guess you're playing a character. You're playing Corey Graves.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, but is what it is. But that was Dirt Sheets and Rumors this week, and man, we just like being a part of it. It's fun. We talk about it. I post them on the Facebook page. We love your comments, and you're part of that as well. So if you have some stuff, you can always tag us in it. And we'd be more than happy to listen to it, watch it, do whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Will. So big show coming up this week, which is Backlash, and it's starting a whole new deal that they're doing now, where the brands are going to be together on every pay-per-view. You know, Backlash, they typically have done that for the last, how many years since the brand?
Yeah, we've seen it quite a bit. But we're going to see, you know, from here on out, these pay-per-views, these shows are going to be co-branded. I don't think we're going to see co-brand matches. I don't think that's the case. I mean, you know, we'll see Survivor Series, stuff like that, where it's definitely show versus show. But, you know, one of the things is things were going on too long. There was too many pay-per-views. There was some of that criticism out there. Personally, for me, it wasn't for me, but I can see why they're doing it.
You know, I just didn't like how, you know, for a while there, some of my favorite stuff was happening on SmackDown. Well, if it was the month for a Raw, then you were basically going a month, you know, 2 months before, not really 2 months, but kind of, depending on where it would go, you know what I mean, before you see those guys. So I like it, but then again, it's going to eliminate some of the people that you would see that might, you know, if it's not a championship match, you're not going to see it now.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's a Braun or a big-time player, you know what I mean? You know, but at the same time, you know, competition makes you better, right?
Yeah.
So if the guys that are on the mid-card, Mojo Riley, you know, people in that realm, you know, they're like, man, I'm not getting on the shows. I got to get better. I got to do something to promote myself more. Maybe it'll, you know, spur some good stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited about it going forward. And then what are your expectations for Backlash? Any of the matches that you're looking forward to more than others?
You know, I just think that I'm ready for the closing chapter of the Superstar shakeup. Yeah. That's what I would say. I'm looking forward to, man, Seth and Miz are going to be good. I know that it's going to be. We're going to have Samoa Joe and Roman Reigns. I bet they put on a good match for us. But I don't think we're seeing the Bludgeon Brothers. I don't think that we're seeing Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt on Backlash. So, you know, I think we're tying up some loose ends, and that's okay because I'm ready to move forward with it. And but I'm going to watch it, and we're going to talk about it, and it's going to be great. Do you know why, Brad?
Why?
Because this is the greatest podcast ever.
Yeah, it is. It is the greatest podcast ever. So if you're out there, please subscribe to our channels. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter, SoundCloud, and if you go to my Nerds to Men page on Spreaker, you can actually get it on Spreaker too.
Yeah.
So do all that. Go see our friends at Cadell and Company. They're down in Norman. Their phone number is 405-928-5026. They're doing residential construction. They've done the commercial construction for over 20 years, fourth-generation builders. We trust them. You should trust them, too, if you want your home improvement projects to come to life.
Yeah.
We all see it on the TV and think, man, I wish my house looked like that. Or, they can do it. So give them a call, 405-928-5026. Visit them on Facebook at Cadell and Company. And then also 10% off if you mention this podcast.
The Oh Yeah Wrestling Podcast.
Oh, yeah. So, and then like we said, if you want, send us your best oh yes, and you get, I don't want to part with them. I just got them.
Man, you were generous, bro.
You get the Macho Man, Randy Savage. We'll give this to you. We'll ship it to you if you're not whatever. But you got to send us the promo.
Yeah, we want to see a promo. Watch it. There's plenty of stuff for you to check. Macho Man Randy Savage out. You can see all his promos back in the day. Man, cut one and be ready for us to post it back on Facebook. So you got to be comfortable with that. But let's have some fun with it. And I'll tell you what, if you send us a promo, I will cut one right back at you, and we'll have some fun with it, man. It'll be good.
Absolutely. Anything
else? I just can't believe I did all that.
Will?
You're like giving away Macho Man. I'm cutting promos back. Yeah. What the hell's going on,
It's going to be a great time. That's what we do. We have a good time on the greatest podcast ever.
That's right.
All right. Well, you have a great week, Will.
You too, man. I'll see you at the birthday party.
Oh, yeah. Well, we won't see you at the birthday party, but we'll see each other.
Yeah.
Till then, till next week, adios.